Another journal entry, 11/25/04. Smiling is the same emotion that was so apparent in countless other entries, the redundant return of reckless and accidental reality. And in review of hours of documented release, the reoccurring dialogue of the honest realizing, the currency, the reluctant acceptance, the patterns and the repetition of repeating years of recycled writings. And I'm not quite sure if this is reminiscent of quality of my character that will always remain regardless of where I am in life or what I'm doing, that 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 this just is as boring and recited as it may seem, and recited as it may seem, it's not going anywhere. The incessant questioning of why the present is the way that it is, always lonely, always beautiful, always responding to immediate surroundings with hopeful skepticism and overly analytical conclusions that actually provide enlightenment and, on rare occasions, even offer protection from falling from foolishness and former, former, finally foreshadowed falsehoods. Maybe I'm lucky to have the ability to see just what's in front of me and just the unfortunacy of being overly affected by it. And after all, what else is there? Of course, here it is again, Thanksgiving, and I'm giving thankfully to a retired journal that was flaunting all of its empty space, but now it's filled. What is so discouraging is the coldest frozen fact that I am in the exact same place as last year as at this time. Well, not exactly by definition, but rather more accurately as in a similar situation, just a different hotel, lonely and wondering why no progress was made. I refuse to point the finger at meth, but I can't resist the curiosity of pondering where I'd be if I hadn't touched any substance since I met homelessness. Would I have my own place? And if I wasn't constantly consumed with my addictions, to my misconceptions of acceptable amusements, well, too late for regrets, so why even consider? Mom came by yesterday and tiptoed through an offspring tortured time and dwelled on the clock and when she just had to be back to Jack's place to engage in the warmth of holiday happenings around his glass top dinner table, and of course never invited me unexpectedly, but she managed to spend enough money on me that she wouldn't feel guilty about my exclusion. She is the queen of justification. One thing I pride myself secretly is that at least I can honestly address my problems with a recognition of definition. Forget about, letting myself down gently. I acknowledge and accept and move on. Just praying for the power to change, and it hasn't happened, holding my breath. So I'm not holding my breath. But she just, slaloms through self-disillusionment and somehow remains satisfied, and I secretly envy this quality. Anyway, she then headed south for Alabama and more family festivities, and Dad is in Idaho complaining about the intellect and cunning advantage of the animals that are apparently displaying that they are apparently displaying, and avoiding the murderous gluttony that my family has adopted as a sport. The way I see it, bloodshed is bloodshed, regardless of the mammal the blood flows through. I've been in this room for days, gradually becoming weeks. I've had no money, and this particular hotel is miles away from frequent bus lines and accessible jobs. But of course, I wasn't aware of the remoteness of this location. I was just too busy embracing the first kitchen I had to myself in years. It truly is a magical thing, this kitchen. So magical that the idea of being stranded without one hadn't even crossed my mind. I saw a full size refrigerator and a stove with dishes, pots, and pans and utensils provided, and cared of nothing else. Oh yeah, I mustn't forget the ironing board and iron, the overabundance of fresh, clean white towels and the dining table and cabinet space, all rendering me speechless and imaginative. So I thought it was a blessing, and now upon reconsideration, I might have been more practical. It might have been more practical for me to stay closer to town, even if it meant sleeping and dining with bacterial life forms and roaches that will outlive me. But too late for regrets. I have Showtime and CNN a remote click away. So how can I possibly complain? I'm just concerned about where I'll end up. The uncertainty is mind-warping. I lost my position at Conoco, the sequel, of course. This time it was Halloween as opposed to Christmas, like last year. Capitalistic bastard, of course. As usual, I was literally dollars and cents away from a deep breath of much-deserved and anticipated freedom from hotel hopping, and into my independence, into my personal space. finally feeling that America is worth tolerating, with the prospect of my pastry sliced Americana going beyond half baked and potentially serving me a larger portion, and teasing me with words like a la mode and modus operandi. My American dream personified into pie was a slice of heaven, but of course it was too good to be true, and I managed to get over the disappointment in lightning record speed, and I'm becoming a professional at accepting disappointments. Not the preferable thing I would like to master, but my guess that the desensitizing effect that this has had on me is probably a quality addition to my adult character that I should definitely begin designing how now it won't be long before 30 knocks on my door, so I might as well have milk and cookies waiting to soften the blow of acceptance. What differs from what was expected adulthood and what actually develops, it might be galaxies apart, or it might be closer to the mark, I don't know, nor do I really want to. Yeah, that was about me having jobs and hotel hopping, and my parents are on vacation, and I'm just kind of like, I mean, you could have invited me. I mean, I have nothing to offer you, like, I have nothing really to talk about, but, at least you know that I was there, as opposed to, what I was going through. Um, I don't know. You could have, talked about how I should be getting a job, and I should be finding a place to live. I could have given you reasons why these things haven't happened. Why they didn't happen.